Hey everybody, I'm John, and we're moving to something a little bit different this time. This is Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, Sonic is, as you know, is going through his 25th anniversary, and so I thought a look at some of the Sonic games that I happen to have access to might be cool. And we're going to start here. Now, if you're looking at this, you're thinking, okay, I've played Sonic the Hedgehog. This doesn't look anything like Sonic the Hedgehog, except that there's vaguely an 8-bit hedgehog jumping around with rings and through spikes and that kind of thing. That's because this is the Game Gear port that you can find on the Sonic Mega Collection for the regular Xbox. And I played this on my Xbox 360. And one thing I learned about this game is this game's got some tough things to it, because a lot of the crazy stuff got edited out, but I think I died in this game just about every way you possibly can. So here we are going to move into Green Hill Zone 2, and different than Sonic 16-bit Sonic, we're now going underground for Zone 2. It's sort of, in a way, familiar to how they handle Green Hill in the second act of Sonic Generations. And by second act, I don't mean the modern Sonic. I mean well, actually, I do mean modern. When modern Sonic ends up going through a cave to get through the end of the level. And you can already see some of the problems. That's a checkpoint right there. First off, the screen is small, and I couldn't do anything with this. And so I really didn't feel all that comfortable going fast. And another problem I had going through here was I thought Sonic was just a little slippery, and I'm not sure if it could have been because I was using the control stick instead of, what original Sega Master Systems and Genesis games used, which was the D-pad. But we managed to get, but that got us through Green Hill Zone. You'll notice the music was just an 8-bit rendition of the 16-bit Green Hill music. This game was released after the 16-bit version of Sonic. So this is not a time order kind of thing. And now it's time for us to meet the easiest Dr. Robotnik boss that I've ever run across. Now, I found that in these little levels, in these boss stages, the third act being a boss, there's always a 1-up somewhere, but it's not particularly helpful to get to, and sometimes can leave you high and dry. And the boss is usually located somewhere else. So the screen stopped, so the boss must be here, and there's Dr. Robotnik. And if you're waiting for him to lower some sort of, I don't know, medicine ball or something, no, he's not going to do it this time. He just flies around. Like I said, it is perhaps the simplest Dr. Robotnik boss that there is. So we made it through Green Hill Zone, and this is where now the level construction is going to change. Because Green Hill Zone was a sort of 8-bit approximation of at least the first part of Green Hill Zone in the Sega Genesis version. Bridge Zone is its own thing, and there is no other level quite like it. In fact, it's so different that when people were talking about Sonic Generations and them doing a 3DS handheld version of the game, perhaps using handheld levels, this is the level that a lot of people would have wanted to see translated into newer graphics. So we're going to run through here, and again, I can't emphasize how much how many times I died. And you're wondering, okay, well, if you died so often, how were you able to keep 4 lives all the time? There's an example of me dying. And an example of me not going back. And the rationale here was I'd reached the checkpoint. So how was I able to stop not lose any lives, and yet I claim that I died just about every conceivable fashion on this level? And the answer is that the Sonic Mega Collection has save files, so that I could save my progress at any point if I needed to, and move on. And I'm really going to abuse that in Jungle Zone, not so much here. But there were lots and lots of little Sonic deaths for me to deal with. And there is a Chaos Emerald. Yes, the Chaos Emeralds are just out lying around in this game. I wasn't really aware of that until I got to this point, and I wasn't really sure how to get to it either. I think I probably needed to go back a little ways and go on a lower path to get to that. But I'm making this run blind. I've never played this game, and the only time I played anything similar to it was when my orthodontist used to have a Game Gear at his office that had Sonic 2 for Game Gear on it. So not quite this game. So, I'm not going to do anything really snazzy here, and the way the game operates, and now we've got you can see we've got a scrolling screen, which is something that's very unusual in a Sonic game. With the way the screen worked with the enemies, and you weren't really quite sure what you were about to run into, so going real fast wasn't particularly advantageous. So I basically just wanted to get in and out of levels, as fast as I could. Now, and believe me, I was very satisfied to get to the end, particularly of Bridge Zone level 2. Let's see, we hit the checkpoint there because I kept finding neat things to fall and die, or neat ways to fall and die. Like, you see that waterfall down there? I've jumped into that before. You see that extra life? I've missed that before. Now the setup, again, because I wasn't quite sure what was coming next, you're having to adjust to go backwards on the bridge, to go forwards on the bridge while the screen is moving. Once you know it's coming, it's not a big deal, but the first time, you're not really certain how this part's going to go. Also, the hit detection on some of the enemies is kind of weird. And I don't even know what happened there. That's not a jump edit or anything. That's what actually happened in the actual feed. But if you'll notice, we got more than 50 rings in that stage, so that's going to send us to a bonus stage. Here's the problem. I have no idea what good the bonus stages do me. In Sonic 1, I know you can get the, for the Sega Genesis, I know you can get the Chaos Emeralds in special stages, but as you saw, there was an emerald just lying around in the zone, so I'm thinking that that's not what these are necessarily for. And so, after bouncing around for a while, I just kind of left, because I didn't really know what to do. And my reward for bouncing around and leaving, besides score points, was a trip to the end of Bridge Zone and a battle against a far more frustrating Dr. Eggman boss than the first one. So we're going to run across this falling bridge here, and then we're going to come here. Now, you hit Eggman, and then he fires his projectiles. And you just have to avoid them. Unfortunately, if you're not careful, it won't work. Now see, that time, Eggman fired them all off in the same direction. I thought, oh, okay, I get this now. If I hit him on the other side, he'll just shoot where the threat is. But no, then he didn't do it. So then my strategy reverted to, I know, I'll just slide around the bridge and maybe I'll get lucky and not hit. And yes, because of the way that Sonic bosses work, I did this 8 times. There we go. A little more sliding for me. You'll note that on the first boss and now on this one, the game doesn't give you any rings going into this fight, so you cannot get hit once by the bosses, and this is going to remain true. I'm thinking this will probably remain true the rest of the way through. I haven't, as of this moment, finished this game, so I don't know. So we got through Bridge Zone, and now we can move on into the jungle. So see you then.